Jai Gurudev, and thank you for joining us today. Today we have with us an art of living expert and an officer of the Vedic Dharma Sansthan. So, what is the significance of day one of Navaratri and why is it dedicated to goddess Shailaputri? Jai Gurudev, and thank you for joining us today. So, day one of Navaratri begins with worship of goddess Shailaputri, the daughter of the Himalayas. Her very name means Shaila or the mountain, and Putri or the daughter. She represents the strength, stability, and rounding quality of Mother Nature. Just as mountains stand tall and immovable, Shailaputri gives us the inner strength to remain firm amidst challenges. In the Art of Living tradition, Gurudev emphasizes that the journey of Navratri is from the gross to the subtle, and Shailaputri is the starting point, grounding us in discipline, devotion, and steadiness before we ascend towards subtler forms of the divine. Now, in the Vedic text, Shailaputri is considered the reincarnation of Sati, who sacrificed herself in the fire of devotion. On the first day, devotees invoke her through Kalash Thapna and chantings of Durga Saptasati. At the Art of Living International Center, this day begins with the Rudra Puja in the evening, followed by the recitation of Lalita Sahasranama and collective chantings led by Gurudev's blessings in the satsang in the evening. Being in his presence makes the whole celebration transcend from ritual to a living experience of the divine. Now, how does the Durga Saptasati recitation enhance the celebration of day one? Yes, Jagadev, Durga Saptasati, also known as Devi Mahatmyan or Chandipat, is a collection of 700 verses that glorify the victory of the Divine Mother over negative forces on day one. When the energy of Shalaputri is invoked, the recitation re-establishes a strong spiritual vibration. The chanting purifies the atmosphere and invokes courage, clarity, and balance. Gurudev often shares that these verses are not the stories of battles but symbols of our inner struggles. When we chant, the subtle energy of the words dissolve inertia and awakens the Shakti within. In the traditional system, chanting of Durga Saptasati is considered very powerful during Navratri. Each syllable carries Bija Mantra vibrations on the first day. These vibrations align our inner energy with the cosmic Shakti. At the Art of Living ashram, thousands of devotees join in the recitation of the presence of Gurudev. The collective energy of chanting not only benefits individuals but radiates peace and harmony to the world. It is believed that listening to or chanting even one chapter with devotion on day one brings immense blessings from Goddess Shalaputri. So, what is the role of Lalita Sahasranama on this day? Yes, Jagadev, Lalita Sahasranama is the chanting of the 1000 names of Goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari. On day one of Navratri, it complements the worship of Shailaputri by invoking the mother in her most compassionate and beautiful form. Gurudev explains that each name is a vibration. It carries a unique frequency that nurtures different aspects of our consciousness. For example, some names invoke abundance, some invoke protection, and some invoke wisdom. When recited in the ashram during Navratri, the names weave a garland of divine energy that elevates everyone present. Traditionally, Lalita Sahasranama is considered a supreme hymn. In a Shakta tradition, its chanting is not just a ritual but a meditative journey. The 1000 names cover every aspect of the Divine Mother, from her form to her qualities, from her compassion to her cosmic play. On the first day, chanting it after Durga Saptasati ensures that the devotee's mind is deeply immersed in Shakti, both fierce and gentle. In the presence of Gurudev, the vibration becomes even more powerful as the silence and presence amplify the spiritual resonance of the chanting. Now, why is Rudra Puja performed on day one of Navratri? Yes, Jagadev, Rudra Puja is a powerful Vedic ritual invoking Lord Shiva in his Rudra form. On day one, it balances in the intense Shakti of Goddess Shailaputri with Shiva's stillness and blessings. Gurudev often reminds us that Devi and Shiva are inseparable, the union of energy and consciousness. By performing Rudra Puja, we create harmony in the environment, cleanse negativity, and invoke divine grace. The collective chanting of Om Namah Shiva and Vedic mantras in Gurudev's presence makes the experience deeply meditative. Now, in the Vedic system, every invocation of Devi is considered incomplete without invoking Shiva, for he is her eternal consort. Rudra Puja with offerings of water, bilva leaves, and mantras purifies the surroundings and the minds of participants. On day one, before starting the 9 days of Devi worship, Rudra Puja ensures a pure and sattvic foundation. At the Art of Living Ashram, Rudra Pujas are conducted daily during Navratri, but on day one, it has special importance because it sanctifies the ground for the journey ahead. How does Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji guide devotees during day one celebrations? Yes, Jai Gurudev. Gurudev's presence is the heart of the celebration. He doesn't just preside over rituals, he elevates them into direct experiences of the divine. On day one, after Kalash Thapna and Pujas, Gurudev often speaks about the significance of Shailaputri, how she symbolizes strength, purity, and surrender. He guides devotees into deep meditation, sometimes with chants of the Devi. His words dissolve doubts and bring clarity about the inner journey Navratri represents. Now, in the traditional system, rituals are complete Only when combined with knowledge and devotion, Gurudev beautifully bridges ancient wisdom with the modern understanding. His presence transforms the environment. One can feel the Devi's energy flowing tangibly in the hall. Thousands sit in silence, their minds still in his wise guidance. For many, day one becomes not just the start of a festival, but the beginning of a profound inner journey with Gurudev's blessings. Rituals turn into celebrations of consciousness. Now, what qualities of Goddess Shailaputri are most relevant for a devotee in today's world? Yes, Jagodev, in today's fast paced life where stress and instability dominate, Shailaputri symbolizes grounding. She teaches us to be rooted like the Himalayas, unshaken by difficulties. Gurudev often says, when the mind is steady, challenges look small. Shailaputri represents this steadiness. Her image riding a bull with a lotus in her hand reminds us of her strength and humility. For our modern seekers, she brings the message of patience, resilience, and faith. Now, the scriptures describe Shailaputri as a Prathama Shakti, the very first manifestation of Mother Divine. She embodies innocence and purity, qualities much needed in our society today. With materialism increasing, devotion to Shailaputri grounds us in simplicity and dharmic values. Worshipping her is said to cleanse the Muladhara Chakra, giving stability to the body, mind, and emotions. That is why on day one, seekers are encouraged to meditate deeply on her qualities, invoking stability in their own lives. Now, why is Shalapatri associated with the bull or the Nandi as a vehicle? Yes, Jagodev, the bull Nandi represents dharma, steadfastness, and pure strength. When goddess Shalaputri rides Nandi, it symbolizes that true power is guided by dharma and divine will, not by aggression or ego. Gurudev often reminds us that strength without values can be destructive, but strength aligned with dharma uplifts society. Devotees meditating on Shailaputri riding Nandi develop the courage to face life's challenges with righteousness and Vedic thought. Nandi is not just a bull, but the eternal devotee of Lord Shiva. By being Shailaputri's vehicle, Nandi reflects the union of Shiva and Shakti from the very first day of Navratri. It also represents endurance. Just as the bull tirelessly works in the fields, devotees are reminded that spiritual progress requires perseverance. At the ashram, when Rudra Puja is performed on day one, devotees see the symbolism come alive, energy balanced with their consciousness. Now, how does meditation on Shailaputri influence the Muladhara Chakra? Jagadev Gurudev explains that Navratri is not only an external celebration but also an inner journey through the chakras. Shailaputri presides over the Muladhara Chakra, the root energy center at the base of the spine. Meditation on her stabilizes the mind, body, and breath, allowing energy to rise upward smoothly. Without grounding, higher spiritual practices cannot sustain. On day one, group meditations led by Gurudev at the ashram specifically invoke stability, preparing seekers for the deeper experiences of the coming days. In Tantra Shastra, each Devi of Navratri corresponds to one chakra. Shailaputri is Muladhara Shakti, ensures that the devotee is firmly rooted in life's foundation, like a tree with strong roots that can weather storms. Chanting our mantra Om Devi Shailaputrai Namaha while focusing on the base of the spine awakens this stability. When performed in mass meditation at the ashram with the Durga Saptasati recitation, the collective energy magnifies the balancing of Muladhara Chakra. Now, can you share the symbolism of Shailaputri being Parvati in her earliest form? Yes, Jayodhya Shailaputri is none other than Parvati, born as a daughter of the Himalayas. She represents the beginning of Parvati's spiritual journey to union with Lord Shiva. In this form, she is simple, pure, and devoted, qualities that every seeker should cultivate. Before moving into higher practices, Gurudev beautifully explains that just as Parvati began her tapas with determination, we too must start our inner tapas on day one of Navratri with the resolve to purify ourselves. The Puranas narrate that after Sati immolated herself, she was reborn as a Shailaputri, daughter of King Himavan. This symbolism is profound. It means that devotion never dies. It transforms and returns stronger by worshipping Shailaputri. Devotees invoke the same power of renewal. At the ashram, this is emphasized during the evening satsangs, where bhajans praising the Parvati Devi create an atmosphere of surrender and devotion. It reminds everyone that the first step of devotion is humility and purity. Now, how do devotees experience Shailaputri's blessings at the Art of Living ashram? The ashram during Navratri is filled with an atmosphere of divinity. On day one, after Kalastapna, the chanting of Durga Saptasati, Lalita Sahasranama, and Rudra Puja creates a powerful energy field. When devotees sit in Gurudev's presence and meditate on Shailaputri, they report feeling deep calmness, stability, and inner strength. Gurudev often guides everyone into silence, making the experience not just a ritual but a living contact with the Devi. Now, devotees who come to the ashram for day one often say they feel held by the mother. Shailaputri's blessings are experienced as a strong grounding energy, an assurance that no matter to the challenges outside, one is protected and nourished. The environment becomes charged with devotion, especially when Gurudev walks into the Yagyashala. His mere presence, or the Dhyan Mandir, his mere presence amplifies the Devi's blessings. Many devotees take sankalpas or resolutions on day one, inspired by the stability and determination of Shailaputri. Now, what is the mantra of goddess Shailaputri and its significance? Jagadev, the mantra is Om Devi Shailaputrai Nama, Om Devi Shailaputrai Nama. Chanting this mantra connects the devotee with the grounding and stabilizing energy of the mother. Gurudev often explains that mantras are not mere words but vibrations that resonate with specific aspects of consciousness. By repeating Shailaputri's mantra, one strengthens the root chakra, calms restlessness, and gains the courage to begin spiritual practices with clarity. At the ashram, thousands chant this mantra in unison, creating a collective resonance that fills the atmosphere with the stability and devotion. Traditionally, chanting this mantra is recommended 100 times on the first day of Navratri. It invokes the Devi's blessings for stability, prosperity, and protection. Shailaputri being the first form of Durga, her mantra acts as the foundation for all 9 days in collective chanting during Rudra Puja and Durga Saptasati recitations. This mantra purifies the environment and helps devotees feel anchored. It is said that even listening to this mantra with devotion brings relief from fear and confusion. Now, how does the Shailaputri inspire inner strength in devotees? The Shailaputri represents courage, patience, and steadiness. In our lives, difficulties often shake us. Gurudev says, strength is not in the absence of challenges, but in the ability to face them with a smile. Shailaputri embodies that quality. Meditating on her image riding the bull with a lotus reminds us that true strength is gentle and rooted in values. During Navratri, devotees often feel a surge of confidence and determination after worshipping her, as if the Devi herself has infused their hearts with strength. Now, scriptures describe Shailaputri as the essence of firmness. Her story shows that despite the pain of her previous birth as Sati, she re-emerges Parvati with greater determination. This teaches us resilience, the ability to rise again stronger. Devotees are encouraged to pray to her for courage to overcome personal struggles. In the ashram, when Gurudev leads meditations on day one, many devotees experience tears of release followed by deep strength, a sign of Shailaputri's blessings. Now, what is the role of Kalash Thapna or Ghata Sthapana on day one? Jagadev, Kalash Thapana marks the beginning of Navratri. A sacred pot filled with water, mango leaves, and topped with a coconut is placed as the seat of the goddess. Gurudev says that the Kalash represents the universe, the water as consciousness, the leaves as life's energies, and the coconut as divine abundance, installing the Kalash invokes Shailaputri to reside in the home or Yagyashala or Dhyan Mandir, blessing the devotees. At the ashram, Kalash Stapna is done with the Vedic mantras, filling the space with the powerful vibrations. Now, in the Vedic tradition, Kalash Stapna is an essential ritual. It symbolizes stability, prosperity, and protection. On day one, Shailaputri is invoked into the Kalash as the foundation for the 9 days of worship. The pot is also considered the body, with the water representing the life force. By sanctifying it, we honor the divinity within us. At the Art of Living International Center, hundreds of kalash are installed and devotees take sankalpas, aligning their personal intentions with the divine energy of Navratri. Now, how is the Shailaputri connected to the element of earth? Jagadeva Shailaputri is associated with the element earth, representing stability, grounding, and nourishment. Gurudev often points out that, like the earth supports all beings without complaint, devotion to Shailaputri teaches us tolerance and unconditional support. In meditation, invoking her balances our connection with nature, making us feel centered and calm. She brings a sense of belonging, which is crucial in today's world, where many feel disconnected from themselves and the environment. Now, in Shakta texts, each Devi from form corresponds to an element. Shailaputri as earth element anchors the devotee's spiritual journey. By meditating on her, we harmonize with the Prithvi Tattva, strengthening our physical and emotional stability. At the ashram, special offerings such as grains and flowers are made on day one to honor the earth element. This is symbolic of returning gratitude to Mother Earth while seeking Shailaputri's blessings for balance and abundance. Now, how does Shailaputri guide householders in spiritual life? Householders often feel torn between worldly duties and spiritual practices. Shailaputri represents the balance between both. She was the daughter of King Himavan and later became the devoted consort of Shiva. Gurudev explains that she shows how to remain deeply spiritual while fulfilling worldly roles. For householders, worshipping her on day one brings stability to family life, grounding in values, and a sense of devotion amidst responsibilities. In Vedic tradition, the Devi is not only worshipped in temples but also in homes. Shalaputri's story inspires householders to see family duties as sacred. She was born into a royal household, yet her life was dedicated to penance and devotion. This balance is a lesson For modern families during Navratri at the ashram, families perform pujas together, guided by priests, making spiritual practices accessible even within household frameworks. Now, why is Shailaputri considered the foundation of Navratri worship? Jagadav, just as a building cannot stand without a strong foundation, Navratri worship cannot begin without invoking Shailaputri. She symbolizes the first step in spiritual progress, which is grounding. Gurudev emphasizes that unless the root chakra is stable, higher states of consciousness cannot be experienced. That is why day one is so crucial. The rituals performed invoke stability and purity, laying the groundwork for the 9-day journey of transformation. Scriptures describe Shailaputri as Navratri Prathama Devi. Without her blessings, the journey of worship is incomplete. She is the seed, the origin, and the foundation in pujas. She is invoked first, followed by the other forms. At the Art of Living ashram, her worship on day one sets the divine vibration that carries forward for all 9 days. Every devotee experiences the importance of beginning with her blessings. Now, what lessons does Shailaputri's rebirth from Sati teach us? Her birth teaches us that nothing in life is lost. Devotion, love, and tapas always return in a new form. Gurudev explains that life is a continuous cycle, and even one chapter ends, a new, more powerful one begins. Shailaputri as Parvati symbolizes resilience, showing us that pain and sacrifice transform into greater strength. This is the lesson for devotees to never give up even when faced with setbacks. Sati immolated herself out of devotion, and as Shailaputri, she returned stronger to fulfill her union with Shiva. This shows the eternal continuity of the soul and the triumph of devotion for devotees. It's a reminder that challenges are temporary, but devotion is eternal. In satsangs at the ashram, this story is narrated with bhajans, making the atmosphere filled with inspiration and surrender. Now, how does the Shailaputri inspire ecological and environmental harmony? Jagadar Shailaputri, being the daughter of the mountains, is the embodiment of nature itself. Gurudev often speaks about the importance of honoring nature as divine. Worshipping Shailaputri on day one inspires us to care for the environment just as she represents the earth element. Devotees are reminded to protect rivers, forests, and mountains. At the ashram, eco-friendly rituals are emphasized: no plastic use, natural offerings, and rituals that honor the 5 elements. In Vedic thought, Devi is inseparable from nature. Shailaputri teaches us that nature is not separate from divinity. Honoring her is honoring the mountains, rivers, and earth itself. At the ashram, special prayers are offered to the earth on day one, and devotees are encouraged to plant trees and live sustainably. In this way, the worship of Shailaputri goes beyond rituals into daily ecological awareness. Now, how is the Shailaputri worship connected to feminine strength and dignity? Jagadish Shailaputri embodies the dignity, strength, and purity of womanhood. Gurudev emphasizes that Devi worship uplifts the honor of women in society. By invoking her on day one, devotees are reminded to respect and honor women as embodiments of Shakti. Her story as the daughter of Himalaya and later as Parvati shows how feminine power is both nurturing and strong. Now, in Vedic tradition, the first Devi worshipped in Navratri being Shailaputri is highly symbolic. It affirms the strength of women as the foundation of family and society. She is celebrated as pure, strong, and unyielding. During Navratri at the ashram, women take an active role in chanting pujas and leading bhajans, honoring Shailaputri's presence in every woman. This reinforces the dignity of feminine energy in spiritual and worldly life. Now, what inner transformation does a devotee experience after day one worship of Shailaputri? After the first day's worship, many devotees feel more centered, peaceful, and resilient. Gurudev often says stability is the first gift of devotion. By invoking Shailaputri, devotees shed fears and restlessness. They feel ready to embark on the deeper spiritual journey of the coming days with the courage and grounding. The transformation is immediate and tangible. Many devotees report that their minds become calmer, their breath steadier, and their hearts lighter. Worshipping Shailaputri balances the root chakra, removing anxieties and insecurities. At the ashram, the collective experience of chanting and puja under Gurudev's presence magnifies this transformation, making day one a powerful turning point for all who participate. Jai Gurudev.